Hi Stampin' friends. Tonight we're going to use the Best Day stamp set. It has a lot of great sentiments. It also has this little kitty cat with a balloon, and it has the happy birthday that I think would be appropriate for whether someone is a cat lover or not. It's just a really cute cake and it's fun to color. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So let's get started with some things. Okay, I started by using, and it's so funny, after I finished these two, I thought, I wonder what they did in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. So I got on there and I noticed that they had used this exact one that I chose to use. It does frame this really nicely. And I used my color challenge that is on my newsletter at the very bottom for January. And the colors are Tahitian Tide, Fresh Freesia, and Pale Papaya. You can see here I've got those colors out. So I did those for my colors for January, just because I thought I took an inspiration from a winter scene actually that had those colors in it, and I thought it just looked really cute for a possible color challenge. So I find when I start with a set of colors that I'm definitely going to use, it makes things go faster, especially for a card like this, when you can use a variety of colors, but you just really want to be quick or not think about it too much. Just do some fun coloring. So that's what I did for these first couple of cards. And I'm going to go ahead and do one that is a circle. I can find it here. It's kind of a funny little pile I've got going. Let's see. Oh, there's my circle. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get my little guy on there, my little kitty cat. He's kind of big. Okay, so it's going to go off the edge. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp this on my little circle. And you'll see here that it doesn't quite fit. Try to get it right in the center as best I can. So there you can see I got it on my pad and everything, stamped right off the edge here. So at this point, I could stamp this on whatever color I'm going to make my balloon, which I wouldn't want it, since I'm going to mat it on this, I wouldn't want it to be the Fresh Freesia. So I could mat it on a color, or I could just stamp it on white and color it, and then it would look the same as the things that I had colored. So it's kind of a 6 of 1 on that, doesn't really matter. I'm gonna just go ahead and ink just this corner. Now it's gonna stamp everywhere, but I only care about inking this one little spot here with the balloon on it. There we are. Get my scissors out. And I'm just gonna cut around this real quick. And I'm not gonna leave much of an edge. Since I kind of got a little carried away, I'm gonna try to take off a little bit of that overstamping that I did. I got see there's a lot of black there. I'm just gonna kind of cut that off. I don't want to cut off any on this side where it's nice and neat, but that other side was a little much. I don't care if I get super close here because I'm going to cover that with my marker. So because the blue is so nice, I'm going to go ahead and use, I've got both colors of blends for the light and the dark Tahitian Tide. So I'm going to use the dark one for this. And I prefer to use the other side because I'm a scribbler. Just kind of go around like that. That's super quick. Doesn't need to be something that's well thought out or anything. So then I'm just going to grab a glue dot and pop it right on here. I'm putting it on this because I don't necessarily want to stick it down to the base that I'm going to put it on over here. So let me get that. All right, and I'd said also in my newsletter that I was going to ask you all what kind of cards you're working on right now, because I am very curious to know what you're working on. And I'm not sure how that's sticking. I guess, okay, I think it's stuck now. That was weird how it didn't stick the first time. So you can always use your mono multi green capped glue like this if you have any trouble getting it to stick. Okay, so I don't know if you want to watch me color this, but just kind of imagine these same colors. I might do a little bit different batch of colors since I did this one with the balloon matching the cupcake liner. So, but I do definitely want my little cat to be a little ginger cat with just his little light orange color, and kind of look like Morris. And I think that this would be easy to color quickly and like doing it, you know, by the TV or whatever. So I'm gonna just set those aside until the end on like a put together kind of thing and do a couple more bits of stamping. I also used this as my own personal color inspiration. This is Poppy Parade. This is actually Early Espresso, but I'm not going to color with Early Espresso because it's so dark. It's almost looks black, and I think that for a good chocolate that I prefer the dark soft suede. So you can see what you think when I start coloring. And then I used also I think this is Daffodil Delight, but I'm having a little bit of eye trouble since the sun went down tonight. It could be So Saffron. I kind of think it is. It looks softer. And then the Coastal Cabana. So what I did on these, and I know that you guys know to do this, but I just cut the inside liner of these so that they could have a little more pop to it. Hi, Nancy. And I did that for both of these, just kind of cut a small piece that can go inside there. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp on those real quick here. I'm going to stamp my little guy. I don't know that he fits. Wait, just barely fits. Super close. So we'll see if I can get it to actually, it definitely fits, but will I get it on there in a way that fits? All right, there we go. And there, I got him a little off to the side, but he's okay. He'll be fine. And then I also wanted to stamp my big guy. Where did I set my big guy? Here he is. Okay. The big happy birthday, the cake. You'll notice this is on a really good size block. There we are. And I'm just gonna kind of center this. Pop it right on there. There we go. And for this one, I have 4 colors instead. I have 4 colors instead of 3 colors. And I do think it makes it easier to color this cake. I'll try to turn it upside down so that you can see it rather than myself. Because I think it makes it easier to use more variety, and because you've got so many things here that you can color. So I just kind of chose that. Now the first thing I'm going to do is pretend that this top part is a chocolate ganache. So I'm just going to color it first, because that will kind of help me choose what colors might look good with it. I'm going to be really careful not to color my circles. And then I'm going to choose one of these guys. I hope I don't accidentally grab those. One of these guys for my dots. I kind of think the blue might look pretty. Our Coastal Cabana. And I could get the color lifter, which I do love very much, but sometimes if you just go back over when it's a light color like this, it'll take care of it. I even have a tiny bit of a halo around here, so I'm just going to go back with a little more brown. I think that will make it look a little better. There we are. Anytime you have that, you can always wait, let it dry really well, and then go back in with more color, and that will make it a little bit easier. Okay, I also think I want to make my plate Coastal Cabana. And then one other thing I was going to say, in the catalog, they have it colored. And if you don't have a catalog, do message me here on Facebook and let me know. I'd be happy to send you one if you don't have a demonstrator already or aren't a demonstrator yourself. In the catalog, they used our new tiny blending brushes to just add color on there. So that's another possibility that looks really nice and would be super fast when you're coloring. So I just think I was going to put birthday in blue also, because I kind of just like blue, and we want to use plenty of it since it's our border edge. And like I'm sitting here now trying to remember, do I have that pretty chocolate ribbon from the big catalog, from the annual catalog? I can't remember if I still have it. I know I had it and used it a bunch, and then I can never remember if I've properly replaced things sometimes. It like calls me back. Whoops. Oh, I do. I have a nice full spool of it, so that'll work out. Okay, so now I'm just going to alternate the probably the light Poppy Parade. You can always go darker. It's hard to go lighter. So I'm going to start with the light Poppy Parade. Oh yeah, that's very bright. I need to be more careful. I'm just going to put that every other one. And then I'm probably going to want to make the cake yellow at the bottom. The dark So Saffron is still not super dark. It's a pretty pale yellow. Both ways, I guess I mean that. Both pretty and pretty pale. Kind of going around that. Go across those. In between these little circles. You'll notice that I'm not one to spend a lot of time on the coloring. Just that's what I like about the blends. A lot of people who they're so versatile. People who love to spend a lot of time coloring can spend a ton of time, and then people like me look like we've spent more time because it's nice and smooth on there. Even if we don't just like to spend, I like to color, but I don't like to think about where the light's coming from. I'm just not that. I like to think mindless. I like to be mindless when I color, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay, so there's that. And now I've got to decide what I'm going to do for the red. I think I'm definitely going to put my strip across red, but I cannot decide. Oh, and I should have used the lighter one. Let me go ahead and go back to it because I do like how it kind of pops nicely with that. It's funny. Oh, that went too far. Just try to get that off. Red is one of the hardest colors to get off with a color lifter or another color, but it is possible. Much different than the other kinds of cards where you absolutely cannot ever get it off. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to go all the way across as I blend this out, just because that will make it have a little bit of a shadow that looks like it's kind of under the little braid that's on there, decoration. Okay, I think I'm going to put blue dots on the bottom. I think that'll be pretty. So I'm totally fine if you don't agree. Now, I am using, and I can't even remember if we have a Coastal Cabana blend, which is hilarious. But this is the Dark Pool Party, and it's pretty darn close. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm ready to just mount this on here. Super simple. Actually, I may go back with a little more yellow. It kind of gets a little bit washed out. I'm just going to do the middle. The edges will stay kind of a light color, but in the middle will have more depth going over that edge there. I think you kind of can see that after I tried it. Okay. These guys too. Okay. So now I'm just going to grab my Stampin' Seal. Oops, I think I've got a little bit on the top there I need to get rid of. Okay, then I'm just going to stick it down here, kind of center it up. I could have done a little better job of evening that up when I cut, but anyway, you can kind of see what I'm doing there. I'm going to grab some of these card bases and layers. So what I thought about this is it kind of looks like you've spread some icing or paint or something. So that's why I like this one. That's embossing folder. So then putting it on that. So you can decide, like for me, I like to, if it's a man, sometimes use a darker card base. So that might be a pretty one to use the early espresso. And see how I think it kind of matches pretty well. And it's just the dark, soft suede. So anyway, then if I was going to give it to a girl, I might use the Poppy Parade. So just kind of a different choice there. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Poppy Parade right now, because what I want to do is put some of this chocolate ribbon on there, and I want it to have plenty of contrast. Which doesn't mean it can't be for a gentleman just because you've used this. So go ahead and cut my tie piece. I think there's something wrong with my scissors. I think I'm going to have to grab a different pair. I think those are, I don't know if they have, I don't know if I cut something with them I shouldn't have, or if I got something sticky on them. I looked for sticky and I didn't see sticky, so. Okay, then I can decide here whether, what's funny about this is that there's no need for any other sentiment. So you're going to be just kind of putting this here. I kind of like, I might should have moved this up, but I kind of like it going across the whole card. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this down, and I'm going to use snail again, or Stampin' Seal again, because I want to put it all the way around, and I don't want the bottom to be lifted up. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of try. I don't know if I have this straight, but it's kind of close enough there. I'm sure I'll look at it 15 times before I take a picture of it later. So funny, all the things you have to do to just get a picture and a card up on a blog or whatever you're doing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get these guys on there. I tend to put 5, 1 in the middle, 1 on each corner. Sometimes I'll only put the corners, but adding the middle just seems to kind of help it have a little bit more stability. Okay, I've got that. I'm going to get my piece that goes across. There, I'll have to be careful now since I did this first. Kind of imagine here, put it kind of across there. I just want a little bit of the edge, the white edge, peeking out. Going here, I'm going to go ahead and put some, you can use glue dots, you can use these guys, this Stampin' Seal, but I have gotten to where I kind of like the Stampin' Seal. It seems like it's easier to stick down. So then one thing I'm doing on this one that I don't usually do, I usually put a layer on top of it to stick it down, but I'm not going to do that this time because I want it to not be stuck there. I want it to have dimension on this layer. Usually this is the layer I usually stick down. So I'm going to decide if I like it first. I'm going to put my glue dot, my dimensional, over this spot here where I kind of got a little carried away, but not necessarily over the ribbon. Okay, I'm going to stick this down. Okay, I want that all right, I think. And then I'm just going to take the little piece that I cut first. All right, I'm just going to tuck that under here. Loop it around once. And then I just need to cut my ends. That one is fine. I want to cut this one this way. And then I can go ahead and pull one end more than the other, and then that will even it up. Let's see. So a nice simple card. At this point, you could definitely be finished. You could also go through and on all of your little pearls here, you could add Wink of Stella. That just gives it a little bit of shimmer. I'll go ahead and finish here and then I'll show you. So let's see if you can see that when I move it like that. There's some sparkle there. So that's one possibility. The next thing I wanted to do is just kind of show coloring this kitty. If you made him brown, you probably wouldn't want to make him as dark as chocolate, just kind of thinking. So I used the dark crumb cake. And you could, if you wanted to, go to some work and make the cat like a calico, leave some white, and put some orange in, some tabby color. So let's see if I can do that. I really have no idea if I'll be able to do that or if it'll just look silly. Gonna put this orange in the center. I kind of feel like I have to use the orange because I do like it for the kitty cat. And then I hope I can remember to leave some white. We'll see. So I'm going to go around her face, or his face. Oh, I guess it would have to be a her. He does have on a bow tie. Okay. Oopsie on that. Probably would have been really cute to make it a Bustopher Jones and white spats and put the, leave the little socks white instead of brown. Just going ahead and adding, I'm going to color in all these little spots because they kind of look like texture. And then leave the tippy top of the tail white. Kind of go around the eyes. What I'm doing is kind of shaking my hand to make it not look like I've drawn a straight line. So I'm sort of going back and just putting the spots on. So there you can see I've just kind of made it into a bit of a calico. There we go. And then, oh, I want to do this right there as well. Just kind of tuck that in. Then I'm going to go back to using my other colors. I'm going to put a little red bow. Oh, I guess I should make the nose the pinkest of the colors. And then I'm just going to put the blue. I think I'll have blue here. And blue dots. One thing I really liked about this, they really noticed the details of the dots. They made it look like it was folded, and I thought that was just an amazing, I mean, I wouldn't have thought to do it. I know artists think of things better than I do, but I would not have thought to do that if I were the artist, so I was quite pleased with that. Okay, so I'm going to make the dark yellow the cupcake, and I'm going to make this right here, the yellow here. Hope I'm not set. I wonder, let's stripe this. What do y'all think about that? You think stripes? I'm going to go back with the red. I think that'll look really cute. With the light poppy parade. To go ahead and make the top of the hat the light poppy parade. And this little squiggle here. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick my little card base and card. I think that one makes kind of a cute one with this. But I do think that with the card, we would need one of the lighter colors as the ribbon. You could use a Pool Party Grosgrain, which is also in the new catalog. I think it's a nice contrast. And then I also wanted to show you, let's see here, this red. This is a real red, but that could be pretty as well. It kind of pops. And especially if you don't really feel like doing some coloring using your Poppy Parade to color your white ribbon, that one would definitely be an option there. And then if you wanted to make it look like something that a cat would play with or something, you could also use one of the twines that we have in the big catalog for the in colors. That could be really cute. Look like, you know, you can make a little ball of twine beside him. That could be really adorable. Hi. Okay, so there's that. And that will mean that I'm going to need to color some of my, well, if I can get a hold of it, white 1/4 inch taffeta with my blends. I'm just going to set that aside. Go ahead and do that real quick. This is my light poppy parade. Just going to get how much I think I need for the whole thing the first time. I like to do it twice because I usually find that I do a better job if I do it twice. Get all the pieces. And then I'm just looking at it to make sure that I think I got it all. Okay, and you want to be real careful. You'll eventually, if you do a whole bunch of ribbon, but when you're doing the red, if you do it too hard and press down, I've ruined some. Now some I haven't worried about because I made so many cards with it. It was like, oh well, no big deal. But it's upsetting when you ruin one of them with, you know, doing that. But still, it makes for a cute little look that sometimes I just can't resist. So this made it kind of a pretty little color, and I might put this perhaps across the bottom. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me use my good scissors. I think I grabbed the ones that I'm liking better right now. Those other scissors actually were my good scissors, so I don't know what I've done. I'll have to have my husband take a look, maybe with a magnifying glass, and see if he can see what I've done to them. So I don't know. 'Cause I'm sure they can be sharpened, but if that's the problem. Okay, I got this one a little bit big on the top and bottom. But okay, there we are. Now I could put something across the top, and that might be where I put my happy birthday. So there we go. I put this across here, and I could have run this through the Big Shot as well. I probably should have, but you don't always have to. You can take little breaks from embossing if you want. You can just do something old school. So I'm just going to stick this down. Roll that over to stop it. Okay, here this to my card. I'm just going to cut this off here and just do a little tie around the bottom. Now this would also be cute, I think, if you did something we used to do in the past. Just do several little strands of ribbon across. That could just be really cute. I missed that right there. It was looking white, so I'm going to go ahead and color that. Let it dry for like 2 seconds. And then I'm going to just pull this around, and then I'll have to do that bottom. I'll have to get it straighter. I'll have to get it slanted. I'm going to put this over to this side. Hold up. Sorry. Put it over to this side since I have the balloon on this side. And I'm going to go ahead again with my Wink of Stella and put some shine on my balloon, make it look a little bit metallic. And then I'm going to add some little pearl things kind of all around with that. Okay, let's see here. I have to decide which direction things are supposed to be going. That one goes that way. So then I want this one going this way. Nope, can't do it. Gotta cut this one. I don't know why I always have to have them going that direction, but I do. Okay, so now I'm just going to put some dimensionals on the back. Whoa, not that many dimensionals. Out of control. There we go. All right. And that. I might put him over to the side right like that. Just to try to do something a little different on such a simple card. And then I'm going to take my happy birthday. Let's find where it has some paper here. Whoops, I don't have this straight. I apologize. Okay. And my happy birthday from this same set. It's super cute. And for the inside, it's the best day because it's your birthday. And wishing you all the wishes. I love that, wishing you all the wishes. It's so silly and fun. So all the possibilities. And I forgot what I was going to do here. I forgot I was going to put these down the side with Versamark or with the same color ink. So let's see if I can get these off. Oh, I can get it off. Okay, on this side, which is all I really cared about. I'm just going to go bing, bing, bing like that with the Versamark. And there is also a little, maybe I'll just do one of those. Maybe I'll just do like that. There's also a little confetti. So what I like about Versamark, it can be a little bit sticky and gooey, but it is a little bit more forgiving if you don't get it just perfect stamped, I think. Okay, so I'm going to put this, let me try to imagine my little guy over here on the side. So I'm going to just set it right there on the edge. Like that. They won't all show, and it'll show more as time goes on. Just gonna get down the side because I think it has been years since I've shown stamping with Versamark, so I thought it was time. Let me look at it and see if I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, and then if I caught an edge there, which I think I might have, one thing I like about some of these, there are these little guys on Amazon. I wish we sold them. They're from Mono Multi. It's a sand and rubber eraser, and I use that to just, if I think I caught an edge or have a little mess of something, I can use that to just rub it off. So this is a harsher side, and then this side is almost like an eraser, just barely has any grit to it at all. Okay, let's see here. Bring this back where I want it. Right about there. And that on the side there. I'm going to use now I could stamp this on yellow and put a border around it in the Coastal Cabana, or, any variety of things. I just kind of like, sometimes I think it's easier to read the white. So that's what I went with, white. There we go. Oh, that didn't quite fill in. So I'm just going to grab whatever dark marker I have. Fill in that B. I like the way that looks better. So then, well, if I can get it back in the thing, I just use my Stampin' Right marker for that. Then I'm going to punch this with my punch, and it just barely fits, but it does fit. My little trash piece out of the way. And so you could do this, you could just pop it on the bottom here, and that would be plenty fine. But you could also go ahead and punch something out to put around it with your scalloped edge. So that could be super. These are the flat adhesive back pearls, and they actually are not completely round. They're kind of odd shaped, and they're actually to go with the By the Bay, the cute little seaside set. So you can add some of these here and there, and I think they just kind of add, now I wouldn't add the bigger ones to this little guy, but I think that they just kind of catch your attention. And since I've used the Wink of Stella here, I think they just kind of add almost like they're little funny little balloon things. So I'm just going to kind of put them randomly on the card. And I admit, getting some of the rounder looking ones as I put those on. Yeah, I'm going to show you that. I just think it adds a little bit more there to my little offset card. So there's that and that. And then I just wanted to get these kind of put together for you. I might put this one on this. So you can see that kind of takes up almost the whole card front. But just maybe add some of our, hold that just a second. Now we have that beautiful velvet. I don't know if this little card is necessarily the one you'd want to put your velvet on. It's kind of fancy, but this one has the little pale papaya, and it's very pale, but I still think it looks pretty and still will bring out the peachy tones under of this cake. Then this one, I had in mind to do the yellow with it. And actually, maybe this one. I don't know. Just kind of depends. But remember, we have this these end colors, and that's perfect for the Tahitian Tide to just look kind of like a silly little thing. And it would be adorable to do a paper piecing. This one would be cute to have it paper pieced, cut real tiny out of a scrap of this, and have its bow tie match. So I'll have to try to do that before I finish that card. And then this is kind of where I was on this one with this little guy, and then putting the happy birthday. So I was just, the reason I use these kind of weird colors, I was working on my January color inspiration that I had on my newsletter. So if you don't subscribe to my newsletter, hop on over to my blog, stampinbunny@blogspot.com, and it will pop up after about 30 seconds or so, and you can sign up for my newsletter. I appreciate you all watching. Thank you for hopping by to see the Best Day stamp set. I hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.